Hi, welcome to the CannaTourism Chronicles, brought to you by Wrazel Cannabis Broadcasting Network. My name is Barbie Summers, and I'll be your tour guide as we explore the new heights of tourism. Today, my guest is Brian Holler. He is the Network Director of WCBN, and we're going to learn all about the inspiration for this series of shows. This is one of several, as well as what else Wrazel's doing. But first, a word from our kind supporter.
Founded by former NFL All-Pro Kyle Turley, NeuroXPF is a sports supplement company specializing in the medicinal benefits of cannabinoids. NeuroXPF makes and sells a full line of high-quality, certified organic, hemp-derived CBD products. All NeuroXPF products are THC-free. They use a special CO2 extracting process to isolate the CBD, working hard to preserve the terpenes in order to modulate the effects of their hemp-derived CBD. This adds that little extra punch to NeuroXPF products so they taste better and provide some beneficial qualities. To learn more about and purchase the NeuroXPF's products, please visit their website at neuroxpf.com. For more information about their current investment opportunity, please visit the Wrazel Investment Marketplace at wrazel.com.
Welcome back. Thanks, Brian, for being my guest today.
Thanks for having me, Barbie. I really appreciate it. Always good to see you.
Always.
Yep, absolutely. So, how's it going?
Well, it's going great.
That's good to
I'm
hear.
happy to be here, and I wanted to share that you are a big reason why I have this show, this platform, and I'm very grateful. So I thought our viewers might like to know a little bit more about Wrazel and the broadcasting network that you're building.
Yeah, absolutely happy to share, and thank you for having me on, of course, to be able to talk about it. And your show is one of our fantastic shows on the entire network, and we're really thrilled to be working with you as well. And so, all you folks out there, listening to CannaTourism Chronicles, make sure that you're checking out Barbie and everything she's doing as well, because that's one of the beautiful things about the network is it gives us opportunity to kind of all work together as a team, but also to kind of get different perspectives and different angles and different kind of topics that, quite frankly, need to be addressed out there in the greater atmosphere. And so that's one of the greatest things about the network for sure.
I agree. I mean, I must say I've been somewhat of a generalist on cannabis with maybe a more focus on science and education. So I'm happy to show a little bit lighter side of cannabis, but also the behind the scenes stuff, which I think is interesting from the business perspective of how is it possible for you to have an enjoyable cannabis tourism experience, and interviewing some of the professionals that do the hard work to make that happen.
Yeah, and clearly we as a company and as an organization value not only you, but we see CannTourism as a niche that's going to be very much, A, it's just interesting, and then B, it's going to grow, obviously. As we continue to have, regulations ease up a little bit and different things happen, people get a little bit adjusted to the quote new normal or whatever, it's not like we've stopped doing events or stopped visiting places that have kind of a cannabis piece to them. I think as we move forward, it's going to be really exciting as that niche grows and you grow. And I'm just really excited about kind of seeing your growth, and as well as all the great hosts on the different shows. So yes, we're really thrilled to have CannTourism as one of the main topics that we address.
And can you tell us about some of the other shows?
Yeah, so WCBN kind of started as a reaction a little bit to COVID, basically. I am SVP Biz Dev for Wrazel, which is essentially our parent company. Wrazel has a handful of companies underneath it, all of which are designed to basically promote, market, and grow the cannabis businesses. So WCBN obviously is a big marketing and advertising and sponsorship arm of that, but it's also something we can get rolled into our other business units as well. So anyways, as we had to react to COVID, obviously in-person events took a bit of a hit. That was really the only thing that we had to adjust to. Thankfully, we were blessed that way. But ultimately, our response to that was just, I can't go to trade shows anymore, and I'm not seeing Barbie at all the places where I usually go see Barbie. So I wonder if Barbie would be open to having one of our usual conversations on a Facebook Live. And so that way we could at least show progress, update people on what's going on in the industry, et cetera. And everybody thought that was a pretty good idea, and so we executed on it. And a month or so, I'd done 30 episodes, which was crazy but fun. And at the end of that, we realized we had kind of had another couple of shows already that we just had to repackage into shows because we always put such a high premium on content. And then basically it was like, well, some of these other people that we're working with and that I've gotten to know over these years would be great hosts. And they could use a vehicle and an opportunity to talk about what they want to talk about. And I was like, we might have a network here. And then, of course, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. And, of course, Big Boss was like, yeah, you do. Go. And so away we went. And yeah, that was a couple months ago, which is crazy to think about. Now you're on, what am I, show 5 or 6, I think, for you?
Of Connecting
6.
Cannabis.
Yeah, you were show 5 for me on Connecting Cannabis, which now seems like about 5 million years ago. But really it was only, I think, 2 months and change ago or something like that.
Yeah, and this is number 6 for me.
And this is number 6 of your own show. So that's pretty crazy. Almost the same number, which would have been really, really cool.
That would have been.
That would have been really cool. We're close though. So I'm number 6 guest on CannaTourism Chronicles. You were number 5 on Connecting Cannabis. Funny thing is though, if you look at number 5, Connecting Cannabis, you're not going to see a lot of this amazing production and all this other stuff. You'll see me in my apartment with really poor lit stuff and Barbie looking much more beautiful and put together than I do, and some blank stuff on the wall. And then you see this. And now look at us, right?
I was in my robe that day.
I remember that. See, again, all the more, comfortable and relaxed, right?
Yeah. That was great. And it was such a great opportunity to share my story. I mean, this is such a multifaceted plant. So, of course, there's so many angles on it.
Yes.
One of my favorite shows that is under the Wrazel umbrella is this show hosted by Keiko Beatty, A Seasoned Perspective.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow. Her first episode, such an eye-opening episode.
Absolutely, yes. And quite frankly, like so many of the shows, I really am still flabbergasted at, like, they were able to, like, address so many topics at such a rapid pace at a nice clip, In addition to that, you have, like, The Higher Ground with Farah Tariq, just get into like legal kind of things.
Love that show.
Sesh Club, which is a new one that's coming out. It's hosted by Austin Jankin, who's a CEO at Weed Commerce. It's a product review show, right? And then you have like our show, The Business of Cannabis, which is essentially just people who are companies that work with us on our investment marketplace, Wrazel investment marketplace, as part of their onboarding, and it's part of the agreement that we do to promote and advertise and work with them to kind of button up their investment opportunities, is they get to do a deep dive with our CEO, our COO about said opportunity, and then they get to be put on a show like this, and they get an advertisement, and they get a whole bunch of stuff. So it's really, really, and that's just one little facet of the capital raise program, which is really cool. Of course, you can get just that thing on WCBN as well. So it really just gives us an opportunity to continue to grow and promote. And the shows, let's see, who have we left out? So many. There's shows around, there's Sensible Dissent, which digs into kind of unjustly imprisoned folks and how come laws are kind of weird around cannabis.
Dumb laws.
Yeah, exactly. And how restrictive they are for the growth of cannabis companies. We have Not Just Another Cannabis show, which is hosted by Whitney Beatty, who's owner of Apothecary Brands. And
I love Whitney.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And hers is kind of I'll tease it because her first episode hasn't come out yet. It's basically a deep dive into businesses, but with a little bit of a twist for today that I'll tease you there for that. But ultimately, there's so many others. I mean, we could go over every show if we wanted to all day long because I can just gush over everything till the cows come home. So.
Well, a question just popped in my head. Does anyone consume on any show?
Well, no, not yet. That's not necessarily, like, we don't mind. Yeah. Like, we don't have a problem with it.
I mean, we're talking about it, but we actually don't.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I would like to show it, but here's the thing. So many places show it, right? Mm-hmm. So many people, there's so much media around, like, hey, let me take a big 5-foot bong rip and let me get stoned in a car or in a office or whatever. And I love all that stuff. Shoot, I watch a ton of it, right? And we eventually, I think, will have room for something like that. But first I really wanted to establish a bunch of shows that were sort of not contrary to that, but that looked at kind of cannabis from a holistic perspective, right? Mm-hmm. That looked at the different aspects of it with regards to social issues, with regards to business and finance, with regards to the different niches that it comes with, truly promoting and digging into a business in a more kind of purposeful manner. those are the
and that's
reasons
what I
why.
love. And I think that that's what does set WCBN apart from some other cannabis content out there is, people are more focused on the business side, the serious side, and showing this multifaceted point of view on the plant. But I can bet you most of the hosts are cannabis consumers, and it only proves the point that, it's goes against some of the stereotypes out there on cannabis use.
Yeah, if anything, I would say my ideal kind of way to show consumption on a show would be us literally just talking like this right here. And the only difference is we have an ashtray right here with two joints that happen to be smoked or happen to be smoking. And while we're talking about WCBN and CannaTourism and maybe some guests you've had and all that sort of stuff, we just occasionally take a drag.
Let's do it.
Fine. But ultimately, that's what, I really want to destigmatize cannabis usage, right? And while, hey, I like seeing somebody crush down 10 pounds of shatter in one hit too, right? But ultimately...
That's entertaining.
That is entertaining. I am more than happy to watch that. But I think there's a world where there's a room for everybody, right? And that we even in a way can help those companies and help those people, right? Because again, I don't know one host that doesn't consume, right? And I would very much be weary of somebody who works in cannabis that doesn't at least take it for medicinal purposes in some aspect, right? I've got a little arthritis, so I use my little, lotion on whatever. At least you have that. But quite frankly, you and I both know most people who are super active in the industry consume pretty regularly.
Yes.
And both of us are no exception.
So I wanted to talk about, so if I'm a company seeking capital, Wrazel can help me, but as well if I'm an investor and I want to invest in cannabis, Wrazel gives me exposure to these companies, whether I'm a VC fund or an institutional investor. How does that work? How do these pairings or introductions take place?
Lots of different ways. Word of mouth, but of course we have a marketing and sales team too that are actively, pursuing leads and generating leads. One of the best ways that we find out if people are looking for capital is through having hosts, or maybe somebody's kind of looking at it and a way to get into Wrazel and kind of test the waters is to do a little bit of a marketing and promotional kind of exposure. So great. We have a very low price point. We can get you on here, get you on a show, do some ads. You can get used to the greater ecosystem, et cetera, and maybe we work your way up to that. But then, of course, we have people who know that we do that and come right on in and are more than excited to kind of join the family, So, it's really... Again, it's 6 businesses under a holding company, right? The kind of one of the central pieces is that investment marketplace. But from my perspective, I want WCBN to be, I want us to compete with the investment marketplace to be the most exciting thing on Wrazel, right? I want us to grow to a point where it's like, whoa, like that. Like I care about the whole company for sure. I'm SVP of business development, so I really want all the units to succeed. But I'm only the head of the WCBN, right? So the beauty of it is that they all work together to basically create a humongous ecosystem. I'm not sure I love that word, but it creates a huge system that anybody from a well-established cannabis brand that's done many, many rounds can plug itself directly into, or if you're the person starting up with a hope and a dream, you can plug into our network and have a chance to succeed as well. And that's what we really wanted to make. Is something that truly could be beneficial for anyone at whatever stage of development they or their business is in with regards to cannabis, hemp, CBD, et cetera.
I love it. I love that you have all of these different avenues and you can be of service to both the investor community as well as the, portfolio investments to be.
That's hopefully, right. Yes,
hopefully
indeed.
Get picked up by a venture capital.
You never know what could happen.
Yeah, you never know. And there's so many ways to get into the cannabis industry. But I first came to Wrazel on behalf of one of my companies that I was interested in seeking funding for. And
it seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
It does. And I was really impressed with what you guys did and how you did it and your professionalism, and your offices are beautiful. And I'm happy to now be working with you.
Yeah, it's crazy how time flies like that, you know. I remember just yesterday meeting you for the first time. You came to one of our events, you know, and we hit it off right away, of course. But like you and I are a good example of what can happen, you know, in the industry. And like we're just one little, you know, speck of things that happen in this greater big picture, you know. But cannabis in general, especially if you're honest and transparent and you're really trying to ingratiate yourself truly to the community at large and to the culture at large, you'll be embraced and quickly. Especially if your heart and your head are in the right place and you're really trying to do something. You just have to do it, which is, I think, really hard for a lot of folks, present
you
company
are
included.
Doing it though.
Yeah.
You're not just talking about it, you're being about it.
That's where you got to get to. That's right. You can't just talk about it, you got to be about it. That is the truth. You know, and if I've taught anybody, like my background, if anybody doesn't know, is I was in media, I was a teacher, and then I did basically sales and business development, mainly B2B. And then I basically grew to a point where I could be taken seriously as an executive. And then I could sort of start calling my own paths. And I wanted to be in cannabis. And I didn't stop until Brian Barbuto said yes. So that's how come I'm with Wrazel.
And Brian is the founder.
Brian's the CEO and founder of Wrazel, yes. Of the entire company, yes.
Yes.
He's my boss. And he's a great one. And he'll probably be on your show sometime, I would guess.
Oh, good. I look forward to that.
That'll be a good conversation. I look forward to that one. And so, yeah, you know, it's all cliches and they all sound corny, but quite frankly, it's the whole rising tide lifts all boats. You know, let's make sure that we can provide value for anybody at any stage, even if, you know, they're just starting out. And that's what we're trying to do.
And that could be as simple as having an ad on one of these shows.
That's right.
Yeah.
30-second ad is very modest at this point.
Less of a financial commitment and a good way to get to know Wrazel.
Yeah. The Wicked Roots mission is to unlock the healing power of cannabis and create trusted, safe, and highly effective wellness products. They firmly believe that cannabinoids and terpenes found in cannabis and hemp have the potential to positively impact millions of lives, and their team is dedicated to making this a reality. Utilizing proprietary DNA, the Wicked Root offers a brand of pharmaceutical-grade CBD products people can rely on. The Wicked Root team utilizes a full-spectrum CBD base infused with select terpenes to create optimal, science-backed formulas that are consistent and deliver targeted effects. To learn more about the Wicked Root, visit thewickedroot.com, or for more on their current investment opportunity, find Wicked Root in the Wrazel investment marketplace at wrazel.com.
And, well, I wanted to get back onto the topic of tourism. I'm just curious, have you had any cannabis tourist experiences yourself, whether in California or elsewhere?
Yes, in Seattle and California, well, Washington and California. I've had two experiences that were like sort of what you do at high dining, like where you had kind of a chef that was there and a nice, you know, handful of people there, really well done, beautiful, elegant scenery, and then they present it to you like your company does, like you know, stages, courses, designed not just to like in a way an executive chef might, you know, position a 4 or 6 course meal, right? But also telling you about what you're ingesting and how it affects you. You know, if I'm being honest, High Dining does this better than the company that I worked with. But anyhow, point is, that's an experience I've had. I've also had I've been on a bus tour to dispensaries in LA.
Oh, one of my upcoming guests has a bus tour.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's give him a plug,
Dwayne.
Shall we?
Yes.
Yes.
Med Tours LA.
Yes, because I'm pretty sure that was the same company. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Dwayne Cofield, yes.
That's right.
Yes.
So Dwayne will be on Barbie's show, I think, next episode or incoming episodes pretty soon.
Yes.
So anyhow, yes. So that's pretty much my experiences. Boy, I could do a lot more. Like I want to go to Coral Cove.
Oh, me too.
Right?
Yeah,
you know?
so my first guest, Keiko Beatty.
That's right.
She's representing the Coral Cove Wellness Resort.
That's right.
And boy, that sounds amazing.
It's
I was
in
actually
Jamaica.
supposed to go there and teach a terpenes class earlier this year, and COVID killed that dream. Well, maybe no, it's still a dream,
That's right.
and I'm going to make it come true.
Right.
I can't wait to check it out.
You understand the whole reason that I'm
yeah.
working with the network is simply just to get to Coral Cove and to know Keiko. That's pretty much it.
Well,
like all this other stuff is, it's nice, but ultimately I'm trying to get with Keiko and I'm trying to go to Jamaica. Those are my goals. So that's where the network's going. Yes.
Oh, great! Everyone's going.
That's right. Oh, if I could have it my way, we would. That'd be where the first WCBN host retreat would be.
Ooh.
When we get to there, that'll be some good stuff. But yes.
Yeah.
So anyhow, as you can see, I have a lot of plans.
Great.
So,
Yeah. And I think you see the roadmap. And we also know in the cannabis industry, sometimes you don't know what turn you're going to take. This is still in its infancy as far as an industry, right?
Yes.
And there's so much more that we probably can't even predict at this point in time.
That's right.
I know that the pharmaceutical companies will be coming out with a lot of interesting things. And, I still love our real deal medicine makers that have really created this industry before it was an industry, when we just called it cannabis community.
Yep.
And I just am honored to be alive at this point in time and to be a part of this growth.
Yeah, it's amazing, huh?
Yeah, because we really can steer it and, have a chance of having an industry that may have some of the things we've desired from other industries. And I think there's a lot more heart and soul so far in this industry. I know that dynamics may change, but I really enjoy all the people that I meet in the cannabis industry. And I'm happy to bring some of my favorites onto the show because we get to highlight some of these amazing personalities, amazing services, amazing investment opportunities. There's just so much to talk about, and that's why you need a full network.
Yeah, you need a full suite of shows to do that. I mean, and quite frankly, I wanted to make sure that everybody had opportunity. Right? And not just from a financial perspective, but from a development and a growth internal, right? Content's such a huge part of developing your business now, right? And it's very hard to do as often as you need to do it. It's also even hard to find high quality, right? How do you stand out from the crowd when everybody's doing Zoom podcasts? And you know what I mean? Especially now. Everybody's doing IG Lives and Facebook Lives. Everybody's got a little graphic designer that they can hit up, right? How do you do something more? How do you do something bigger that would not only kind of be crazy to go for, but they might even consider some of those other people who need some help to give them the help they need, and that they deserve.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the tourism definitely needs help right now. The whole hospitality industry.
Let's just take your show alone, right? This show alone, California tourism, right? Cannabis tourism, excuse me. High dining, so events, right? You, Wrazel Cannabis Broadcasting Network, and any of your guests, right? So you get plugged into just this show alone, not to mention our other 15 that we already have. This show alone helps every one of those things. And it helps you and me. Wow, cool, huh? Right? But
it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win.
See, that's exactly right. We don't just like wins. We don't just like win-wins. We like win-win-win-win-win-win-win. We want to win-win-win-win-win, right? And so, but we want wins for the entire industry. We want wins for everybody, right? One of the most beautiful things about WCBN, in addition to the wide breadth of topics, is that we're not afraid to address any issue. Not one. I don't care if it's sexual health of seniors.
Right, that's the one that came to my mind.
Or unjustly imprisoned people, right?
Yes, we need more of that.
And it's very rare, to your point you were just making, that the business needs of an industry line up with its social needs. Aren't we in an amazing spot? Aren't we in an incredible opportunity where it lines up just perfectly? And you and I both worked in many other industries, and we know that rarely, if ever, maybe has never actually happened, right? Oh my goodness. You mean we can make money and be on the right side of history? Yep. Yep. You can be transparent? Yep.
Authentic.
And the community will embrace authenticity? Oh, yes. More than anyone you've ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
So you want me to get excited more? I start getting real excited when I think about that. We literally are helping people.
Feels good.
You know? And we're doing it in a way that's smart, intelligent, and that allows us to grow too. There's nothing wrong with that, folks. Not a damn thing. Anybody tells you different, they don't know what they're talking about. They really don't. How are you supposed to make change in this society right now? If you have no money, you can talk. And then when you get to the people with real power and money, guess what? They're not listening, right? So you have to make noise, right? But you also have to do so strategically. And you have to come with some money in your pockets too, because that's what they listen to, right? So it's this crazy balance of like, wait, I respect the community and the culture. I want to make sure that that is adhered to. I want to make sure it is respected, right? And I want to make sure that the people who started this, who were doing it when it was really hard, are valued, respected, treated fairly, right? And that, you know, on the other side of that coin, that it's done in a way that facilitates growth, not just from a personal and a social standpoint, from a business standpoint. Because that's what will allow us to be the force that we need to be.
Yeah.
If all the nonprofits and the niches and the OGs and the new school and the old investors and the new investors can come together, we can get to where we want to go a lot faster than people think.
Well, and my hope is that even if you're coming at this from an investment standpoint,
totally fine to do.
Part of your due diligence should be to try cannabis yourself.
Yes.
And my hope is that, as it's known as a mind expansion tool, and I think promotes kindness and well-being, true well-being, you know, for your health as well as your mind. And I just kind of hope for a little softer world, honestly, as cannabis becomes more widely accepted. So yeah, it's definitely the logical place to put your money. Cannabis is essential. We know the investment community is still investing, and that is increasing.
Yep.
But my hope is that they also actually participate and enjoy all of the things that cannabis has to offer, as well as the investment gains.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. Like, that's okay to want. You know, it's okay to want to spread your CBD product across the world because you know it helps people in need, and to also be able to do that a lot. And the only way you're able to do that a lot is if people are paying for this here, which gives you the leeway to help maybe over here, right? And that's a very simple business model, and a lot of cannabis companies adopt it. It's so funny to not see it elsewhere, right? And to bring it further back to, or to bring it back to WCBN, tell me where else that you can find that level of opportunity to promote and advertise directly to a cannabis community that large without hurdles, without getting spanked by certain different things. Like, that's what we're building here. You want to talk more about why
nobody's
consumption,
doing it, you know, the way you're doing it, and as I mean, I didn't hear about Wrazel until I think late last year, and bam, you're everywhere.
And that's kind of the idea. And as we continue to grow, hopefully that we can bring everybody along with us. And you know, ultimately more success to and information and knowledge for everybody who's not only on this side of the camera, but watching. You know, we want to provide resources for all of you, and we have them. So go to Wrazel, contact Barbie, contact me, contact anybody you want to learn more about this show, the network, what Wrazel does, what Barbie does, right? That's what it's about.
Thanks for being on the show.
Of course, anytime, Barbie. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you soon.